sevgili Anthony ve ortağı George, Picasso, Modigliani gibi dünyaca ünlü ressamların tabloların arkasındaki gizemi, daha önce hiç görmediğimiz eserleri yapay zeka ile ortaya çıkartıyorlar. Şimdi Anthony bize bunu nasıl yaptıklarını anlatacak. Anthony, welcome. I briefly introduced you and your amazing work, but we're looking forward to hearing more from you. The virtual stage is yours.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen now. Is that good? Is everyone visible?
Yes, wonderful.
Okay. So what is your favorite artwork? So everyone, please take a moment to think of some painting, some sculpture, some film, some TV show, some comedy show, some game, something that is artistic that you have found inspirational in your life. And think about how it has helped you to communicate with other people. And think about how there's some point embedded in some film you watched or some in this favorite artistic piece of yours that you would not be able to communicate to other people in a formal way. Now imagine if that artwork was gone and you didn't have access to it anymore, or no one else knew what you were talking about if you referenced it. And think about how you couldn't communicate that complicated message you needed to communicate to other people. What would you do to get it back? This is what, in effect, art does. It allows us to communicate messages that are otherwise too complex. Pablo Picasso's La Vie, 1903. This painting is one of Picasso's most famous Blue Period pieces, and it hangs in the Cleveland Museum of Art. In the background of this painting is a sketch of another painting. And for a long time, art historians wondered, what is this painting? And where is it? And maybe what it properly looks like when it's not just a sketch in the background. About 10 years ago, an X-ray of Picasso's Blind Man's Meal, which hangs in the Metropolitan Museum of New York, revealed a vague outline of what looks like a woman that's crouching. But what did this piece actually look like? Do we ever get to see it again? Do we ever get to analyze it? With use of state-of-the-art AI techniques and 3D printing, we resurrected a plausible reconstruction of what this piece might have looked like. I'm Anthony Bourached, and my co-founder is George Kahn. We are technologists, we are scientists, and we believe in something that's not necessarily widely accepted yet in the relationship between science and art, which we'll get to in a minute. But first, I introduce one of our co-authors and advisors, Professor David Stork. He's professor of art history and of computer science at Stanford University, and he is writing the first textbook on computer for the analysis of art, a subject that he teaches at Stanford and around the world. And this will be the first textbook of what is an extremely important nascent field. Usually, nascent academic fields don't get a lot of attention worldwide. This work has, which means in some way, this is important to society, but in what way? Or why is it getting attention? And people may have different theories on that, but I'd like to share with you my own. I believe in a certain hierarchy of complexity between different formal disciplines and informal disciplines. This hierarchy of complexity goes from least complex at the bottom to most complex. And by complex, I do not mean difficult as a pursuit, difficult as a study, but rather the complexity of the parameters that are needed to express things in that domain. So mathematics here at the bottom is our most rudimentary formal system. And it's what we base all of our natural sciences and physics on. Whereas in the top right, we have what we would consider qualitative things, what we would consider, feelings and love and anything that makes us kind of human, anything that we do not quantify, but rather are able to, reason about as humans. So are these things related? And I believe that they are related, but it's a matter of a difference in complexity. But this question is one that our work brings up. Just in the last week, the Times asked this exact question. Is this Ghost Picasso the real deal? I.e., is this art or this recreation of this art a real Picasso? And the answer is quite simple. No, it's not. Picasso didn't paint it. It's a 3D printed thing. But what it is it is an expression of, or it's a mapping. It's a stochastic creation of a mathematical analysis of all of Picasso's work and some forensics on something that isn't completely seen or has been damaged or destroyed. There is a direct mathematical mapping between all the information that is available and what comes in this piece. So that means there is some relationship here between the science in this hierarchy and the top of the hierarchy, which I have put as art. Okay. I also have on the side here how AI is hijacking art history, because it's an article that I came across just this morning, and it brings up some interesting points that I would like to address. No, we're not trying to hijack art history. We are trying to add value and analysis to it. Two of the points that makes is, first of all, does the piece we created add any more information? So that is something that is debatable. It certainly aesthetically looks like it gives us more information, or it tells us more. But in a scientific perspective, this is the start of a very, very complicated field that can give a lot more insight. So it's akin to perhaps the first automobile, in which it doesn't necessarily go faster than a horse and carriage, but it has the attributes that allows it to scale. And if that analogy generalizes here, it will give us a lot more information than any sort of non-quantitative method could ever do. Second point in this article was that this is just a feel-good message for AI. And that is true, but that is very important, because technology is becoming more and more intrinsic in our lives. And we need new ways to empathize with it. We need new ways to feel what it means to have complicated mathematical relationships that actually evoke us. I mean, this piece is emotional. It's significant. It makes people discuss it, but it is just a mathematical creation. It's just a mathematical relationship. And this second point brings up another question. Is this art or science? And the answer to that is that it's both, because it is documenting an important current debate between culture, humanity, and technology. which will be a significant part of our future. And so it satisfies this property of art containing complex methods that we cannot communicate in a formal manner. And in terms of the science, as I said, these are the first steps in what is a long road to doing all we can do with technology. So our methods aren't secret. We've published several components of our method in computer vision for the analysis of art with our co-author, David Stork. And I just wanted to give a little bit more of an insight about how, this one might start doing something like this. And I'll do that with the help of Da Vinci. So this painting up the top left is Da Vinci's Madonna with Child. So what we do when we want to train an algorithm on this is we first make a mapping that is an edge detection, an algorithm that can find the edges of the contours of a painting. So we go from 1 to 2. Then what we want to do is we want to train an AI to, if it can see 2, bring it back to 1. So training an algorithm to do this on all of Da Vinci's paintings, except for this one, and then applying to this one, we get 4. Now, if we compare 4 to 1, we can see that even though the algorithm hasn't known what color clothes are in the painting, it has inferred it pretty reasonably. And of course, a human or an art historian might also infer it reasonably. But this shows that these sort of methods gives us a statistical way of making these sort of inferences. And we can also see some of the inferences are wrong. Like, for example, the button on the blouse is black in the original, but gold in the reconstruction. I just want to show you a quick video. The first 2 end-to-end reconstructions that we have done, which we have dubbed Neo Masters, we have made available as limited edition collectibles. We effectively make these available for purchase at barely more than it costs us to produce them. So this landscape on the right is available on our website. It's for £5,000. The Modigliani on the left is a bit more, as we sell through a partner gallery, and it's £16,000 or $22,000 through our partner. Both of them are available through our website. We also have Twitter and Instagram, where we update on our upcoming projects, and we have NFTs on known origins and wearable. So this continues to be both scientific pursuit and an artistic expression. And I'd be very happy to take any questions. Thank you.